I gave in to my impatience and took a trade I know better than to take, but thankfully was able to pivot and take the better entry to make my loss back plus some, and even found another trade in the afternoon to end the day overall green. So we'll go over the trade, of course, and look at the other markups on that day. And you're not always going to be running hot. We can look at my month. I am trading really well. That I can't take perfect trades every single day. Even when I take good trades, they're going to lose, right? So I've been battling it back some days. But on this day, you can see 66% win rate. 3 trades because I took a poor one, got back into a quality one, which we'll take a look at. But let's first go over the one that we didn't take. But this is on stream. This is while the opening range is still setting. If you've seen any of my VWAP videos, that black line being the overnight and the blue one being New York, when these two lines are right on top of each other, that's a great key level to find some bounces off of, especially on a pre-market that had been bearish. This is our pullback level, right? We're continuing lower overnight. Let's pull back before we move back down in the direction of trend. I just didn't love how it's mid-range, but when it moves from this level, you always have to ask yourself, where would I have wanted to be short? Well, as close to VWAP as possible. That's always the case. I just overthought it on saying, I think I can get a better entry of maybe come back higher and then back through and then I'll short it, right? And you get too picky with it. You wait a minute or two and it's gone. One thing to say about it is the first break of open range low that you would have to hold through, right? If I'm shorting it here on the hold of New York and this opening range, I'm going to probably need to exit at that first break of open range low. You can see how well it runs today. But again, if you've seen any of these videos, you also know that doesn't always happen. So I smartly probably should have gotten out there if I were in it. But whatever. We let that thing drift lower. We'll get another opportunity. It'll pull back eventually of some kind, and we take a poor trade. So it does pull back. I didn't just jump in towards the lows as it's drifting lower, right? Because who knows when it wants to stop or slow down. But buyers try to take a stand. It pulls back, breaks the low of day view up here in purple, tries to pull back again, maybe another lower high, another stronger take of that lower day view up. So I'm not wrong on wanting to look for shorts. The bias is clear today. The little impatience or maybe even FOMO of saying, I can't just keep letting these easy identifiable shorts keep going by without me. I mean, if this thing is going to go from here, why aren't I in it? Like, I know I want to be short, and I'm just going to let this drift lower and lower and just sit on the sidelines. So that crept in a little bit while we're on stream because everyone else is maybe making money on the original shorts. I know Austin even scalped it on the pullback, like getting it on a nice pullback and scalped it in like 2 minutes. So I'm just sitting there flat. Damn. Well, I got to make some money. Damn. Let me get in these trades. So FOMO got in a little bit, maybe impatience. So we take the trade. One thing to also say on it, the stop loss doesn't make any sense. Yes, it's at structure, but if I were to get stopped out on this, we're still below New York VWAP. Would you still technically want to be a seller? Yeah. So, okay, this doesn't invalidate it. So then why is the stop there? Don't take me out there. And one thing, I'm selling it at the lowest price of the day that we've offered. So this is really like a breakout strategy. I need it to break out and make new lows for me to make any sort of money, right? Which are my least favorite trades. Could they run? Of course. I mean, if you technically sold it back here, all of these are new lows and they'll pay for sure. But when you're talking about what would I prefer, I'd rather see the pullback come in and try to get involved in the next move, trade back down to where we already have been today. I know sellers can take us down there, so let's try to go down there again. But when we're selling it at the lows, well, I don't know if we have any strength to go lower and lower. There's no proof to say that we do today. So I always like to trade to a level we've already been to and get the entry as close to VWAP. So I get stopped out. 4 minutes go by. We're holding this New York VWAP. Same question. If this moves lower from here, where would I have wanted to be short? At the VWAP. Just like we wanted to be short back there at the VWAP. And in all my YouTube videos, as close to VWAP, the better. Because then you get more room to trade back down in the direction of trend. Now it works its way slowly but surely, but the new information has not come yet. And a lot of people are maybe freaking out on how sideways it's moving, thinking this is going to pop back higher or that's going to finally pop us back higher. But that's maybe too forecasting and too predicting of fear because it's still moving lower, lower highs on top. I've said in a few videos, if I'm in a short, I'm focused on the structure above. As long as we're still making lower highs, I like the trade. So lower high, right? Because at any moment, the lower low can come in, just like it did here. So I can't say that these are going to be higher lows on the bottom until it's met with also a higher high. Otherwise, no, it's still falling on top. Buyers aren't trying to step in. And I get a nice exit right at the bottom, right? A strong break for a new low a day. Thank you very much. I'll take that. And if this wants to keep going lower, I'll probably just sell it later on. But this is a nice healthy move. It's been like 45 minutes. I made back my loss plus like $250, $230 as you can see here. And it worked out in my favor because it comes right back up. And we take another short. Now, not conventional, but looking at the 15-minute now, as you can see that overnight VWAP in black, that's where the first moves came. And you can see that hold of it, just super clean. Coming underneath it pre-market, retest, strong move from there, textbook shorts. But this blue line is New York VWAP, so we do cut above it. Buyers are technically in control there, right? And even above this overnight, so they're in control there as well. But this is where zooming out and just recognizing, well, it's been bearish all day, so my bias isn't bullish just because we've spent 15 minutes above this line. Now, if buyers sustain this move and keep on going higher, then I'll probably shift to the longs, but it's too early to say that, right? And I can get a price close to VWAP, right on it. So you can see on the left side here, if this were to move back into trend, right, make another lower low, would I be surprised that it happens off of this VWAP? No, it's another lower high on the day following a lower low down here. So I'm still holding that short bias. I can get a price close to VWAP, trading it down to the New York VWAP. I'm not going to get greedy with it and ask for it to break the New York, saying we're at the overnight. I think we can get some pullback a little bit. Let's just try to see some sellers step in around this key level, right? That's what all these VWAPs are. Places that I want to get interested in. You can see it actually does come higher later. So this was the short that I just took. It actually spikes back up, but still finishes back down because the day, when you look at it even more so now, zoomed out from the day prior, yesterday's low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, not quite the lower low, right? But trend is still very much bearish. So I cannot just get zoomed into longs here and expect us to rally. For what? How the hell could I possibly predict that? Just because we're above the VWAP. Now, of course it could, and if it did, I'd react to it. But I still have to stick to that bias of when we're here. Yeah, it would make sense if sellers try to step in here and send us back a little bit lower. They've been defending this level all morning and all night, right? So let's see if they got it again. And they did, right? So it's a nice day of lessons. Not always taking these trades. Very rarely would I chase the lows like this. But like I said, when you're on stream, people around you are making money and you're just sitting there flat feeling like you know what's going to happen and you want to make a move out of it and you just let money on the table, it's going to creep into you and you're going to make mistakes. That's why that self-awareness is good, having others around you to keep you in check and watch what you're doing so you don't let it all out on the charts, right? I very easily could have let this loss turn into anger, maybe even, I don't know, long it, who knows? But that would have been worst case scenario. But just saying, okay, that was a silly trade. Didn't need to be in that, but now we're holding New York again, so let me just try again. You know, it's in the past. I can't not take this anymore. I already took it. So let's just look forward. What's the next best entry? It's going to be here off the VWAP, and we make the money back. Could it have been just a green day? Sure. But sometimes you just got to battle it out. Those other one and done 100% green days, they'll be there. But sometimes it'll be 50%, 60, 0, 30. So you just take it day by day, trade by trade, but it was a nice solid day. So hopefully you guys made money on it as well and understand all these markups. If you don't understand these trades and these VWAP levels that I'm talking about, you guys can all get free access to it. My strategy on AZFX TV, just use code FIRST. You get your first month free. The link to that is down below. But all the VWAP breaks, all the bounces, all the key levels are broken down in here, and then you can watch us trade it live on stream every morning, right? And if you miss the streams or you've come in late, you can watch the replays of all these trades. There's Austin's short that I was talking about, that little scalp. And then I jump in at the bottom. Shame on me. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you also check out the top one sale. Right now when you're running this, they're running 57.5% off for Black Friday. Hugest sale they've ever had. You can capture up to 3 instant funded accounts. And they're also now going to be offering Trade Evade depending on when you're watching this. So you can trade over there. I've also have a tutorial on how to trade on there and on TradingView. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you check them out. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.